how's it going? Welcome to PTZOptics and HuddleCamHD Live. My name's Tess Protesto. We go live the first Thursday of every month at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. Make sure that you say hi on the chat on YouTube, Facebook. We want to know where you're watching from. We're excited to share today's topic with you, which is standardizing and simplifying your company's video production workflow. I've got some wonderful guests with me today, my fellow colleagues, experts on this topic. So we're going to answer all of your questions. I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Stephen Haywood, our broadcast engineer, Mrs. Julia Sherwin, our director of communications, and Mr. Matthew Davis, our director of technology and information systems. Hey guys, how's it going?
Great.
Pretty good.
Good to be here, Tess.
Thank you guys for hopping on today and supporting me for this topic. It's a big one.
It's a fun
Very, very important too.
It is a very important topic. It's something that our company, even though we work in the video production space, we've been developing ourselves over these past couple of years. And I'm sure many organizations out there are going through the same thing where they probably were pushed to up the game of their video communications processes due to COVID-19. And now as we're still going through that time, we're looking maybe for some standardization and some simplifying of our current processes. So today we're going to talk about some networking capabilities that you might want to look into, that your organization might want to look into, as well as some tech tools that are really going to help elevate your video processes. So I have Matt here with me, and I thought I'd bring him on today to talk a little bit about networking. We know I'm not the expert there, don't claim to be, but that's why I have the trusty expert Matthew Davis here with me. How's it going, Matt?
Not bad. I don't know if I'm an expert, but I will say I've been breaking networks for a good 20 or 30 years, so I've got at least a little experience relating to it. But yeah, definitely going to be a fun topic to explore with regards to, content workflows.
Well, we're keeping it pretty easy today. If going through our overview, I was able to understand some of the verbiage, I think that will be okay.
I have faith.
I'm sorry, Matt. Cut you off there.
Oh, good. We're here to just have a fun conversation about these topics.
Yeah, I see everybody's letting me know where they're from in the chat, so I just wanted to give a couple quick shout outs to Don and Jim and Lawrence and Daryl on YouTube. How's it going, guys? And then we have a lot of people on Facebook too. Spiny, the X Keys mascot, is in the chat. What's up, Spiny, you cute little devil? We've got Ricardo from the Bahamas. Jan from Denmark. I love learning about where you guys are coming from. We are live, so feel free to ask any questions in the chat as we get into the discussion today. And one more piece of housekeeping before we dive into the content. We do have a giveaway. We're giving away a webcam 80. So we're going to do that at the end of the show today. So if you haven't registered for that, you can do that right now at ptzoptics.com/show. Okay, I've got a presentation I'm going to share with you today that we're going to talk about some of this info here. So standardizing and simplifying your company's video delivery. Let's start talking about IP protocol. Many of you might be familiar with the NDIO protocol as well as maybe Dante, which is leveraging audio over IP in the corporate space. Pretty well known there. Well, let's start talking about NDI in the corporate space. You might be familiar with it maybe in the broadcast space, but how can we leverage that type of technology for corporate and business applications? Matt, can you just give us a quick little overview for those that might be new with us on what NDI is?
Yeah, so NDI is a really, really easy way to make your audio, video, and if you need control, flow over the network in a way where you don't need to be some highfalutin expert at configuring all your network resources to move things around. It just works. Obviously, as you get into more advanced setups, you might need to do a little tweaking to your network, but the main idea is it's a really easy way to move audio and video content and potentially even control around your network. You don't need to be any expert to get it up and running.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted to bring up today is you might already have the technology implemented in your current network infrastructure to implement these type of tools. So you're saving money, you already have the possibilities there, you just have to do the work and get it started. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. For a lot of people, they're excited to begin exploring NDI. One of the neat things is NDI has these things called NDI tools that are freely available for anyone to go and download. So even if you just had some curiosity, you wanted to see the potential of playing with NDI on your network, go download those free tools. You'll be able to start sending some video content around your network and playing with it before you go and invest in NDI cameras, encoders, decoders, and all this wonderful world of NDI equipment that exists this day and age.
That's a really good point. So you don't necessarily have to spend money right off the bat if you're interested in exploring that technology. NDI does have those tools, and that's something I hadn't considered before. So that's a great point. We're going to be talking today about some NDI products, of course. We're going to be chatting about cameras. What's the difference or benefit of NDI HX over full NDI? Can you give us the selling point there?
Yeah, they both have awesome places in this world. When you're doing NDI without compression, it's getting very close to, if not on par with that good old SDI or HDMI cabling that everybody's familiar with, everybody's comfortable with. It's just now allowing you to go places that SDI or HDMI cable could never go before. It couldn't even dream of going. As we now get to leverage networks and the public internet and these wonderful computer things where we can go and play with that video content to no end, add filters and layers onto it. Kind of whatever you can dream is possible once you start playing with true digital content flowing around.
Yeah, while we're on the topic of possibilities, you mentioned a possible new development in the NDI world for the corporate space with the bridge. Can you give us a little bit of background on that?
Yeah. So if you have existing NDI, sources on your network, whether they're NDI HX, which is the compressed version, or the NDI uncompressed version, you can use this really, really nifty utility that's going to be launching very soon. It is kind of out, but not in its fully fledged state yet. But NDI Bridge is going to allow people to have NDI sources on a network and be able to literally bridge to another network over the public internet and bring those sources in where they get video, audio, and control without having to actually be on location. So this gets very, very exciting because not only, I talk about it going one direction, but it's not really just that. The beauty is if you had NDI sources on both sides of this, they now get shared with each other. You want to join another network into this, you can do that. So you really get this really neat way to start sharing all of your NDI sources. The biggest thing you have to start worrying about is, can your, internet connection, is it enough to handle everything you want to try and do? But the beauty is you really can just limit the quality. It gives you a lot of control. And the one thing that I think corporate will find interesting, so while NDI travels across your LAN, it is unencrypted. When it travels across your WAN or your wide area network or across the public internet using the bridge, that content is encrypted, which is very, very important for corporations.
What's the benefit there? Because I don't quite understand that.
Yeah, so in theory, if you wanted to tap into a video feed, you could do that, unfortunately, when it's not encrypted. If, on the other hand, it's encrypted, it becomes incredibly difficult to ever tap into that video audio feed. So you usually have your own network secure in a corporation, but you want to make sure if it's going across the public internet, nobody's able to listen in on that board
still
meeting
covered.
or the call. Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. We were
And
also talking, I was just going to say that I wanted to bring Julia in on this because we're talking about simplifying our systems here. What are some thoughts about simplifying via networking, Julia, that you might have in mind?
yeah, for sure. I just wanted to go back to what Matt was talking about. If the last year and a half has shown us anything, it's the fact that we learned a lot from broadcast television. I was just watching something about the Drew Barrymore show. They were able to produce with to make it appear like her interviewees were actually in studio with her. So some of these tools that Matt just talked about, can help corporate locations where you have different headquarters and different satellites all over the world, and you
Right.
want to have sort of like a town hall meeting or something like that, where you want to bring in different people at different times, maybe different executives. So these tools are really, we've learned a lot from the actual broadcast industry, and can use some of these tools in corporate spaces. So as far as simplifying, it makes sense to be able to operate multiple, equipment, whether it be lights and whether it be, your cameras and other audio and visual components. You can operate it all along the same network. So that's a simplification in and of itself. Your IT department can manage some of these ancillary accessories that previously maybe were kind of in this separate bucket for just like an AV team. But now, when we talk about things like security and encryption, it makes sense for all of those things to be sort of under the same purview. From a simplification standpoint, if you're a smaller organization, our HuddleCamHD products offer USB connectivity. So you can just say they're simple plug and play. Even like with our EPTZ webcams, you can utilize them for, directly streaming to content delivery networks like YouTube and Facebook for certain aspects of video production. And you can also, they're also portable. You just unplug them and throw them in a laptop bag and take them from location to location. So yeah, we're really talking about, that process can be quite easy. And, we're here to help you guys out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is all about the possibilities for remote management, whether it's controlling your cameras or just controlling the networking via your video production equipment. To hear that it's not just the local area network, but now there's a possibility to be able to do that over the wide area network is very exciting. So I'm excited to see where that goes, Matt, especially for our business too. I'm sure that'll help you out because you're always managing our office remotely. So I think
Yes.
you'll like that. We did have a
Yeah, yeah.
question in the
I've
chat.
this has kind of been a dream of mine since I got into Pro AV, 15 years ago. This we're just now getting to that point I've wanted to be at for so long, and thank goodness for the broadcast industry bringing this, capability to us.
I'm very happy for you. Okay, Whiskey Cast says, would this allow intermixing of HDMI and USB cameras? Well, with NDI, you will need to be connected via Ethernet, but we are going to share a variety of IP connected cameras today that you would be able to achieve that with. Do you think I answered that correctly, Matt? Chime in if I'm
Yeah. I mean, I think that's something that could be accomplished today. The beauty is with like the free NDI tools, there's a lot of things that you can use to convert. Like if you owned a Magewell encoder, they have software for it that allows you to start playing with it in the same sense, where you can start mixing and matching, whether it's SDI content, USB content, NDI content. And then you go to the step to OBS and vMix, where they've got these same types of capabilities, or a TriCaster.
So there are encoders that allow you to do that. The
USB camera is the only oddity in that mix. The only thing I know that really accommodates that is products from a company called Inagenie. And the Inagenie products do allow you to mix between HDMI and USB.
Okay, all right, that makes sense there. Continuing on with some possibilities here. Everybody and their mom has heard of Zoom this past year. And, you know, that's one of the most popular unified communication tools out there, along with Microsoft Teams, of course. Did you know that they have an NDI integration within them? So there is an NDI output feature within both of these UC platforms that's going to allow you to, Matt, am I correct in this? You're going to have to guide me on it. It's bringing the feed within Zoom or Microsoft out over NDI output. Where'd he go?
He had to step away real quick. But
I thought I was at least going to get a giggle from it.
we're working on it here. So go ahead, ask your question again, and I'll do my best to answer it as we get them on.
Yeah. Can you help me out with this one, Stephen? I wanted to verify my accuracy with the Zoom and Microsoft Teams NDI output and what that really looks like.
Yeah. So with Teams and you can output over NDI and bring it into all different types of solutions that are out there, which is you have to literally turn it on inside of the applications. And Matt, you can add to this because he's back now.
I thought you ditched me right in the middle of the show.
Yeah, there was some weird power thing going on over here. Hopefully it is all resolved at this point.
It's all right. We got plenty of backup today.
Yay!
So we were just chatting about that. Yeah. Go ahead. Carry it away.
Oh, what is the topic?
We were just chatting about that Zoom and Microsoft NDI output and what that would really look like.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're using a Zoom room or if you're using Microsoft Teams,
Oh boy.
We lost him again. But I think, Stephen, you made the point just fine. So if you're using OBS or Wirecast or vMix, you can now bring your output of Zoom or Microsoft into those pieces of software and stream out without degrading quality like you may have seen in the past.
Yep,
Right,
absolutely,
right.
absolutely.
So where that's interesting is, you know, people want to take their Zoom meeting and they want to make it into more of a full-scale production. But for those who don't know, you know, Zoom, the video from your Zoom meeting is compressed. So when you go to deliver it out through, you know, typical content delivery networks such as YouTube and Facebook, it doesn't look so great. So those video production software and utilizing NDI in that sense helps to make it all happen, make the magic all happen together there.
It's just really cool that this technology is all becoming one. And, you know, we thought it was just for our broadcast industry, and look at how it's expanding. So.
Well, I mean, if there's a silver lining in what's happened, you know, the tragedies of the last year and a half, which is, you know, been far and wide spread, it's that, you know, video conferencing became essential, but now we're at that stage where people want it to be more of a professional video delivery, and we're not going to go back because it saves a lot of money with travel, and you know, you don't need to get together for some of these big corporate meetings the way we used to in the past. They can be produced with, you know, products such as the ones we have, with minimal from the side of a camera operator standpoint. So, you know, in the past we needed a whole production team and you needed, you know, lots of equipment. And, you know, today we can utilize, you know, smaller form factor PTZ cameras, ones with artificial intelligence that enable auto framing and auto tracking. So we've really come a long way. And I can say that because, you know, I've been in the corporate world since the 90s. So I have seen all the changes.
Hey, you're dating yourself there a little bit.
Yeah, well.
I'm teasing you. Let's get into talking about some of the tools that we use to simplify and standardize our video workflow here. We can start off with just a simple webcam. It's something that can be easily standardized in your corporation because it's quite affordable. We do have the HuddleCam Webcam 104 that has an OSD menu and a privacy cap that we just wanted to mention to you guys to start off today's chat about products, because it is so easy, plug and play, portable, small. If you're looking though for something to really elevate your video production, whether it's just day-to-day meetings or actually recording content. That's really what we're going to dive into today. Juliet, do you want to start us off on the HuddleCam Pro series?
Sure, and I'm just going to go back to the HuddleCam 104, and we have the HuddleCam 104 for HuddleCam, and then we have the PTZOptics Webcam 80. Both of those have been reduced, so they're now being offered at $84. So the price came down for those, and the HuddleCam EPTZ products, which you're going to talk about next. This is the form factor of a webcam, but it's an electronic pan, tilt, and zoom camera. So you can utilize this remote, like you see that I have here. And it's really fun because you can, pan, tilt, and zoom electronically with that, with your HuddleCam EPTZ. Our Pro model is certified for Zoom. So, Zoom would, it's nothing to take lightly. Zoom has a pretty rigorous certification process. And then the Pro IP can be utilized over the network. And that price has actually been reduced. That was previously $499. It's now $362 MSRP. So what's great about that is, people are utilizing these webcams because they're so advanced. It's a 4K image when you're fully zoomed out, and that is they're utilizing these for both video production and video conferencing. So if you're looking for something that and it has a dual it has a microphone array, I should say. If you're looking for something that is sort of like this one size fits all, if you wanted to outfit multiple rooms in your corporation to ensure that, you had really robust video conferencing capabilities, and also that next added step of being able to pan, tilt, and zoom with a smaller form factor product, that's a perfect item to implement.
Yeah, it's a really versatile product, and they're quite popular for us, and so we're excited to be able to share that with you guys, especially the price drop. That's very exciting news for us. That's always good news to share with your audience, so give us a like if you like the sound of price drops, and maybe we'll bring more for you. Don in the chat is commenting right here. We got the HuddleCam a few months ago. Love it in the meeting room. Awesome video angles. Thank you, Don. Promise we didn't pay him to say that. Moving on to a nice alternative to the EPTZ camera here, the HuddleCam 3X USB 2.0 PTZ camera. Julia, I'm going to let you plug away on this one as well. I just lost my inner earpiece.
So this is a product that we've had for some time. Again, it's very simple. It's plug and play. It's a little bit less, portable than the EPTZ cameras, obviously, but it's a great all-around product for the conference room. It comes in at a price point that makes a lot of sense for small to mid-sized businesses, schools,
awesome,
and things like that. So.
I've
got some audio.
Hear you back there. We were just chatting about the 3X. We might have lost him again, but that's okay. Something else I'd be excited to. Oh, he's here. Oh, you decided to join us again. Lovely.
I did, at least for now. Yeah, it seems like apologies everyone, but it looks like our crazy network over here, we're having some ISP issues with Comcast today. So apologies for that.
I only knew what ISP meant.
Internet service provider.
Oh, thank you. That's a fancy word for Comcast.
You got it.
It's sort of been a week of technology, craziness between some Zoom happenings, and we all know what happened with Facebook. So it just kind of rounding out the week, I should say.
Yes, it certainly has been an interesting week. We were just chatting about the HuddleCam 3X, and one other thing I wanted to note with this USB PTZ camera, it does have UVC control, which if you're familiar with Zoom pan tilt zoom function, you can remotely pan tilt zoom this camera via Zoom. So that's definitely another cool one, especially for your production managers, or if you have a webinar manager, that would be a very nice tool to be able to use there.
Yeah, again, it's about that ability to be able to remotely control a camera.
Which is pretty darn cool that you can do that nowadays. Let's get a little bit more high-end with our HuddleCam SimplTrack2. If you're looking for an auto tracking camera, this is pretty much the one. It's got quite a few options here, and I'll let Julia cover them for you.
No, it has a lot of options, as you can see, you know, in the photo and the slide there. This has been incredibly popular for schools, obviously, because it's an auto tracking camera. It, you know, an instructor, and I can say this from experience. I've been an adjunct instructor. The last thing you want to think about when you go into a classroom, especially filled with, you know, first-year college students, the last thing you want to think about is dealing with a camera. You want to be able to have something set up for your lecture capture and remote viewers, and you also want to be able to just like focus on your curriculum and your content. So it works great in the classroom, but we've also discovered that you know, our other customers are really loving it as well in corporate spaces, because again, it's great for presentations. So you're tracking a presenter in a certain range on a stage. And you can set up those, you know, there's software that you can utilize when you set up your SimplTrack2, and you set it and forget it. So if you want to block out certain zones and you want to, you know, make sure you're just getting the head and shoulders, you know, based on the presenter's height, you can set all of that up. And thanks, Stephen, for bringing that up, so you can see a little bit about how that looks, what that interface looks like there.
Yeah, it's another option for remote management. And it is NDIHX upgradable. That's something that's been a new addition for this camera. So you can also remotely manage this over the network, just like some of the other products we were talking about today.
Right. And if you have a SimplTrack2 or a HuddleView, which is it looks very similar to the SimplTrack, only it's an auto framing camera instead of an auto tracking camera. We do have instructions on the HuddleCam website. What you have to do, you have to upgrade the firmware, and then you go to NDI and buy a license. And right now, those licenses, the fee's been reduced with NDI for that. So it's a great option if you have that product already, either of those products, I should say.
Now, we spoke mostly about HuddleCam products so far today, but we do represent our sister company, PTZOptics, as well, which really is about the broadcast quality cameras. So right now I'm showing you our NDIHX, PTZOptics, SDI, and NDIHX cameras, meaning you'll have both of those options simultaneously, as well as HDMI actually with this camera. You also have control software available and control app, available for these, as well as a phone app. So there's another option for you for remote management.
Yep. Control them on an iPad. You can control them, you know, multiple different ways. They are also enabled for both NDI natively and also SRT, which is something that I don't know if, you know, Matt gave us a little bit of a tutorial into how, you know, transporting video over the internet. And that's what SRT allows you to do, is transport over the public internet in a secure fashion. So that's, you know, awesome. And then these products have 5-year warranties.
We've got a couple comments also that I wanted to address really quick. Lawrence D says, love the NDI version, says I want to add inexpensive alternative camera angles. Example, a choir and a pipe organ. Perfect example of an application there, Lawrence. But don't want to deal with varying latency by changing connection tech. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Thanks for that application. And Don says, with your cameras, the audio in jack, is that direct with a mic, or is that a line feed? So to my understanding, the line in is just like a microphone plugging directly into the camera. So I feel like the line feed to me would mean the same thing as a mic. Stephen, if you're there, can you help give me a little bit more technological answer on that?
Yeah, the line in the back is just a simple, you know, 1/8" line input that you can go directly into it if you want, if you so need to do that.
Okay, so I think that makes sense then. So it's just like a microphone in option there.
Yeah, you could plug an 1/8" into it.
And if you wanted to get that audio out, you'd have to pull it out via the HDMI on the back of the SDI cameras, or the NDIHX cameras that we were talking about.
It would travel over that, yes. I believe, okay. Matt, that's accurate?
Yeah. Yeah, so on the SDI or NDI cameras, it will travel over the IP feeds and the HDMI. If you have a USB version, it is only over IP and USB, not the HDMI.
Okay. We're going to take a look at the USB ones right now. So with the USB PTZOptics cameras, you have the full power of the PTZOptics broadcast cameras in the plug-and-play simplicity of a USB camera. So that's sort of the main idea there. You do also have the IP connectivity within this camera, so you can upgrade it to NDI-HX if you'd like, but otherwise you can control over IP. Matt, you have to remind me if the USB cameras are PoE, because that's something that I did not mention this whole presentation, and now I'm kicking myself for.
The USB cameras are not PoE,
It's
but that is where we
NDI.
would yes, and that's where we would suggest if anybody does want to. PoE Texas has plenty of adapters that'll work great to turn that into a PoE enabled device if that's what you need.
Cool. Julia, am I missing some key points that you might want to highlight here?
Well, with these cameras, we do have tutorials in our blogs and knowledge base how to stream directly to content delivery networks. A lot of people are looking to just hit the ground running, right? They just want the camera. They want to be able to get out there, and you can actually do that.
I'm reading the chat here. Thank you, Steve B, saying I just purchased a 12x NDI-HX PTZOptics camera for my YouTube channel. I have to say it's amazing. And I have to say you are amazing for sharing that comment with us. Okay.
That's great.
Oh, that's one of my favorite cameras.
And finally, the grand finale today, the HuddleShare, the wireless presentation sharing system that I'm actually using right now to share this presentation with you today. It's wireless, it's simple, and I know that Julia just got some great information on this product that she's going to share with you now.
Yeah, it's really a perfect product for somebody who's going from office to office to, think you're a traditional traveling salesperson and they're making presentations. So this solves a lot of pain points in the conference room because you are able to use this device wirelessly to share content to a central screen. You can, it outputs, the HuddleShare outputs 920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second. So your image quality is awesome. There's a little share key, as we were talking about at the top of the show before we started streaming today. So that provides an immediate connection. It supports connections through its built-in Wi-Fi hotspot. So there's wireless media software that is accompanies that can that's available for Mac, PC, Android, or iOS. So you can actually operate this from your phone. So it's absolutely secure as well. It can be set up to automatically change passwords on a set interval. So if you've got concerns about you're going to a corporate location, you're worried about sharing this content and the security, there's basically a lot of security baked into this product. It's very easy to set up. The HuddleShare, you can connect a USB mouse to the USB ports to interact with the HuddleShare. And if connecting through an iOS or Android device, you can use the mouse feature to use the device as a wireless mouse. So an on-screen keyboard will be displayed when typing is required. So it's really just, this great all-in-one sort of system for wireless presentation and sharing. It has a whiteboarding feature as well.
Oh, I forgot about that.
All right, I just have to, cool. I'm going to chime in here because you did all the hard stuff. I hope you don't mind if I try and take the one super fun aspect, at least from my perspective here.
I would love
whiteboarding was pretty fun.
So on that whiteboarding note, actually, and also your USB keyboard and mouse, one of the cool features is when you have other wireless PCs connected to this, that keyboard and mouse controls them. So you actually can switch between your computers right from the HuddleShare and have full-blown ability to interface with everybody else's PC. You can take this a step further, and if you have a touch screen, oh, it gets to be a blast. You can connect it to the touch screen, and now you're up there doing all sorts of fun things, interacting with everybody's PC. Oh, it definitely it engages your audience in a whole new fashion. It's fantastic.
All right, Matt, I'm going to need you to get me that smart board over here. So I can start that touch screen.
We might have a spare one.
Yeah, it was my first time using this product, to be honest, like with my own hands, setting it up for this presentation. And I was a little bit scared at the beginning, as this is going to be complicated. And it really was super easy. I don't know how else to say it. You gave 3 examples of different ways to connect. So it's like pick your poison, and it just worked. So I was really relieved.
Yeah, and this is
Yay.
This is another one of those products that, you know, it's great in corporate settings, but also for education.
Yes,
Definitely.
absolutely. Especially now that we're hybrid, some schools are back and forth. You can bring your lecture with you wherever you have to teach from, whether it's home or in school. So that's a good point, Julia. Question from Joel. The HuddleCamHD that had the DVI port on the back, so that's going to be the SimplTrack. Is that true DVI or just a breakout to connect things like HDMI, serial, etc.?
It is a true DVI and has the ability to emulate an HDMI mode to make it compatible with more HDMI displays, recorders, but it is a true DVI connection and not a breakout.
I'm trying to give you a close-up of all the connection options on the back. Michael's getting it for me.
He's going to zoom in.
We will get there.
There we go.
There you go. So there you go. You got the USB, serial, SDI, DVI, IP, and then an audio input or power on that side. So that wraps it up for the products that I was going to cover for you guys today. I want to give a moment to answer any questions that might be lingering in the chat. After today's discussion, Don just chimed in and said, HuddleShare, wow, I've been searching for a way of passing computer control in a different venue from one room to broadcast control in another room about 100 feet away. Well, I'm really happy that hopefully this can be a solution to solve that issue for you. So very exciting. And once again, we are about to have a giveaway, so don't go anywhere because we are going to give away a PTZOptics Webcam 80. I was just going to see if I had one lying around, but I don't see it. And also thank you, Stephen, Julia, and Matt for joining me today. It would be no fun without you.
Oh, absolutely. The pleasure is mine. Thank you for doing all the heavy lifting, Tess.
Not really, but that's what I brought you guys on for. And
So,
what I'm gonna
I could
do-
say something, but it would be no different than what Julia said. She hit that nail on the head. Thank you, Tess, for you know, being there and helping lead us through this.
We do our best.
Do you have a wheel anymore to spin? There's no more prize
not
wheel.
right. We do have the wheel still. It's over there, and that's it. That's something we can think about with our upcoming giveaways. But I'm gonna have to bring up Gleam on my computer to pull a winner right now. So again, it might have tapped out in terms of time, but if you want to check and see if there's still time to enter, it's PTZOptics.com/show to enter today's giveaway. It is finished, so it looks like timing is up because I usually have it cut off at about 2:30 when we're into the show. So let us know that you're here in the chat, so it'll be easy for me to pick your name as a winner.
Yeah, and if you missed it this time, know that we're planning on doing this the first Thursday of every month at 2:00. So next month we're focusing on houses of worship and some of the products that you want to start thinking about really to get ready for the holidays. But by then it's going to be crunch time. So if you need any help in the interim, you know, feel free to reach out to us at partners@PTZOptics.com.
Yes, and I have to do a shameless plug for ourselves. If you're watching and you haven't liked and subscribed on Facebook and YouTube, please do so. It would make our day. We really appreciate it. I drew Kevin Zook as my first selection here. Let me know if you're here, Kevin Zook. We do have a question from Paul on Facebook. Hey, Paul, what controller would you recommend for the 30X NDI when filming almost in full telephoto? You still here, Matt? Because I'm not familiar with telephoto.
Yeah, so all the way in. So as far as that camera can go, I would probably suggest the PTZOptics SuperJoy as a really, really nice way to handle control. But if your budget's a little bit more constrained, you're going to find a very similar control experience coming out of the PTZOptics PTJoy G4, our 4th generation IP joystick. Both of those should allow some very granular control, even when you're zoomed in to the full extent of that 30X.
Thank you for that, Matt. I am just putting some new winners in. Tim Peter. Hey, Kyle. Kyle is in the chat. Okay. Don says, of course I'm here. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Okay, and Tim Peter. Don't know if you are here. This is always the fun part.
Must be present to win.
Yes, that's a good point. You must be present to win. I always feel bad when people watch on the replay. Okay, Alec Milam. Alec Milam from Texas. Alec Milam. Other consideration at 30X is a solid mount, as any vibration could be an issue.
Yes, that is definitely something people should be concerned about. You know, the more zoom that you have available to you and the more that you use, any minor vibrations are going to be amplified. You know, viewing something all the way zoomed in on a 12X is not going to showcase as much of that bounce as a 30X is going to at its full extent. So yes, looking at shock absorption mounts if needed, braces. One of the things to keep in mind is that a lot of people talk about, you know, seeing this movement in their camera, and not all movements are the same. So when a vibration isolator solves the problem for one person's instance, it does not mean it is going to solve the same problem for somebody else. So you just need to kind of do a little homework on what type of vibrations you're experiencing. You know, if it's coming from a pipe organ, it can be one type of solution, whereas if it's a door that gets slammed shut or people walking across a balcony, that's probably going to require a different solution to your problem. So just know you probably want to do a little homework based on exactly how your camera's mounted, and find other people that have had similar setups to find what has worked for them. But yeah, there unfortunately isn't a magical one solution for all vibrations that exists out there.
Tajmar Thompson. I'm just going to keep throwing them out in the chat, so just let me know. Okay, Paul, what HuddleCam do you have? The movement of telephoto, he was getting a jerk. Okay. Tajmar Thompson. Oh my goodness, you'll never believe who I called.
Who?
Oh wait. Okay. All right. XUES 1974. I'm not sure who you are, but I did just draw Kyle Gunderman. Hey Kyle. Congratulations.
How many products has Kyle won?
I don't know. And we do have a camera limit if it's in the past 365 days. But I don't think that he's won a camera in the past 365 days. Kyle. There you go again.
Is he here?
He is here. He chimed in when it was time for the giveaway, so I see you there, Kyle. Thank you for being so supportive over the years, Kyle. You're earning your products. All right. I guess we can wrap things up right about now, unless there's any other lingering questions. Again, thank you guys for joining me and supporting us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would mean the world to us. We will be live the first Thursday of November, and we're going to be covering House of Worship that month. So
yeah, and we'll have some exciting news to share. So you want to make sure that you join us on that first Thursday of November. I don't have the date handy right now, but
I don't either. But if you want to get notified, you can go to ptzoptics.com/show and sign up for our live show notification list to make sure you don't miss next time we go live. All right, that's it for us today. Thank you, guys. Stephen, you can roll the credits or the outro whenever you'd like.